Today, the one a day is the number one step, okay, to a healthy heart, okay? So let's first understand something about the heart. And this is a really heartfelt time of year, isn't it? Okay, we kick off with Thanksgiving, we go to Christmas, and then we go to New Year's. It's all about the heart, isn't it? Really, it truly is. But understand something. Your heart is the record keeper. It's the record keeper of emotions. But the main emotion that your heart is the record keeper of is love. And also the unlove that you get. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that every time that you're in love, your heart is just vibrating so much, so big, it's so full. Fireworks are popping right out of your heart. Now, what happens when you're in love and you fall out of love? Okay? When you fall out of love, some people will fall down really hard and they'll damage their heart. Why do they fall down so hard? Why does one person, when they fall out of love, or not fall out of love, but when their love breaks up, their heart breaks up, when they break up with someone, when they move on, why does their heart go into pieces? Why does it feel so empty? Why does it hurt so bad? Well, because you were taught by mommy and daddy and by the systems that the world was going to fill up your heart and that you needed to serve the world, because then the world would serve you love and it would fill up your heart every day. So I've talked about this before, but we're going to get into the actual heart disease. We're going to talk about things in depth here. This is about 10 minutes, but understand something. I got to set the pace right. So if you love yourself only 5%, that means 95% of the world needs to somehow make you feel loved or fill you up every day. Like as if you're going to a self-serve gas station so that you can become tankful. So if you're not tankful, you're going to be hurtful. And you know what? What about this? My heart is in pieces. I feel so empty. My heart is broken. I can't go on. I just want to kill myself. Well, understand something. Even when you fell in love and there was fireworks and you felt like you had more energy than you ever had, and that if you had any disease, you were cured instantly from it, okay? Because we can't live without love, because love is oxygen. But the reality is that what society has done is they have disempowered us in the worst way by making us believe that mommy and daddy are responsible for filling our heart. That your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your children, the dog, okay? Someone saying something to you that you're worthy. And if they say you're unworthy, then you're hurt. See, if you could learn not to take things personal, not need an approval from anyone, then you wouldn't be heartbroken. And also, you know what? I can tell you the first time I was ever in love with someone, and I really, really was in love, her name was Wendy. And I got to tell you, I couldn't sleep on the floor. I couldn't sleep anywhere. There was nowhere I could sleep. And I never got over her for probably 2 years. And that's because I was taught that I wasn't worthy to love. You know, I was a bad boy. And the problem was I was kept on looking for love from everyone else, but I was so heartbroken from her, I probably let a lot of really great times and loving times go by. So your heart is the record keeper. And if you believe that love hurts, then you will have heart dis-ease, which means you will have heart disease. So, and being the record keeper, you know what? It is going to record on your belief systems about yourself. And when you truly fall head over heels in love with somebody or something, you don't. Nobody's ever given you any love in their life. They made love to you. They've hugged you. They've kissed you. But guess what? The love that you feel is the love that you have, and it's from your spirit. And it's your spirit that feeds up into your heart and fills your heart up. So everything is vibration and everything is frequency. And understand something, okay? Here we go. This is fact. The heart, the brain, and the mind are connected. And I don't care what anybody says out there. This is science, okay? They work together and are dependent on each other. If something happens to one, the others are affected. It's called the domino effect of an idea. Okay, so understand something. This very moment, the way you're feeling about the world and the way your heart is feeling on an emotional, physical level is dependent on the idea you're having right at this moment. Now, the way that you feel over the next hour will depend on the ideas that you're having in your head. the way that you are feeling over the whole day, and at the end of the day, your energy levels and how you feel physically and emotionally will be all the ideas you had that day. So then we know that your personality creates your reality. So we know that an idea becomes an image. We know that then an image becomes a thought, and a thought then creates an emotion, and an emotion then creates a frequency. And we know that that frequency then triggers the what? It goes into the mind, the brain, it goes into the brain, but the mind has subconscious beliefs in there. That image comes in, and that triggers a prominent thought in the mind, and which is in the brain, and then the brain releases certain chemicals, whether they're based on love or hate. And I call the hate chemicals adrenaline and cortisol, because they should only be coming when you're being chased by a tiger or a dinosaur, or when your life is being threatened. And meanwhile, we know that people threaten their lives, okay? We used to have threatening situations 3 times a month. We do it 17 times a day now. Minimum. The majority of the population. Are you getting this? So what do you think it's doing to your heart? Because I can't live without love. And it's all about love. So understand something. So the idea creates a domino effect. So now we know that the invisible creates the physical. So now we know that everybody that has heart disease or has a circulatory problem has actually created by an invisible thought that caused their body to rot. Okay, so get this. So an invisible block, okay, an invisible block is I'm unworthy to love. An invisible block is a negative thought. That's what an invisible block is. It's a negative thought, because you cannot process a negative thought. You can process a positive thought. Yeah, our relationship was over. I need to move on. Wow, I was a real ass to her. I need to humble myself down and apologize and say I'm sorry because I disrespected her. So understand something. This is how it works. But the subconscious is, which is the ego, can be the ego. If the subconscious, which can be the ego, gets in play, it will destroy your life. It will make everybody wrong. And you're not supposed to make yourself wrong or anyone else. You're supposed to look at the idea and then say to yourself, okay, all right, how can I have resolve here? Because the one thing you can't trust ever is your own mind. Because it's a landmine until every thought in there is based on total, unconditional love. And when you fill up your own heart and you're not dependent on others, then you don't have to get angry at them. So understand, the invisible block, which is the idea or the thought, will create the physical block, like I just showed you, because it's all about chemistry, because the mind is the chemist, and it dumps these chemicals that then creates issues in your tissues, or it eliminates issues in your tissues. So understand this. So the chemicals then will create physical blocks. Those physical blocks would be what? Well, first of all, the chemicals create the inflammation on an emotional and physical level. They create the crystallization from lactic and uric acid, okay? Because you're dumping all this adrenaline and cortisol into your body. That creates more inflammation, and the acidity creates scar tissue because your body wants to wall off where the inflammation is, that weak point. And then if it continues, it sends calcium from whatever area the bones are the closest to try to put out this fire. Okay, better than mutating and having cancer, right? So it's better to get osteoporosis. But the problem here is, okay, you need to get this. If you take a look at a person and you lay them down flat, even if they're right-handed, you will see that the left side of their body is anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1.5 inches higher, depending on how much scar tissue, crystallization, lactic acid, lactic and uric acid being the crystallization, is wrapped around it. So scar tissue, calcium, and crystallization wrapped around it, creating a fist. That's actually physically choking off the heart. And why are you choking off the heart? Well, you tried to wall it off because love hurts. And you don't like getting hurt. And believe it or not, guess who has the most problem with this? Not women, but men. Because men wall off love. Because men, be a man, be tough. Well, you can't do that with love. With love, you've got to soften up and become a sponge. You got to take it in and feel it. Okay? So understand something. A new in-depth analysis conducted by Heart and Stroke, okay, of the interconnections between our hearts, our brains, and our minds has revealed that the relationship is much stronger and more complex than previously thought, and the impact of the connections on the already overloaded health system. Listen, so here's what happens. What we found out is that there'll always be inflammation in the brain before there is in the heart. Did you get that? There'll always be inflammation in the brain before there is in the heart. And that means that there'll always end up being some scar tissue in the brain before there is in the heart. So before you have heart disease, you have a sick mind. And that sick mind is based on that we're supposed to get love from everyone else, and we don't let ourselves off the hook. Look, it doesn't matter what I do for the rest of my life, no matter how bad it is. Did you hear what I said? I am not going to give myself guilt. I am not going to put myself in judgment jail, because that's how you destroy your heart. I'm going to look at it and go, what can I have done better? How can I make that person feel better? And what can I learn from that? And how can I resolve this? And I'm going to move on. Life is about making mistakes, and life is about failures. And the more failures you make, the chances are the more successful you're going to make. But the reality is how long does it take you to get over that failure? How long does it take you to get over your heart being hurt? Okay? When you take the poison pill of I hate them because they don't love me, then you are going to have heart disease. That's it. So understand that fist around you, around your heart, you created it first. You created from the invisible, it became the physical. So look at iData Research, a leading international market research and consulting firm, has published results from their latest cardiovascular research revealing that over 1.8 million stents were implanted in Americans last year. Now, can you believe that? 1.8 million. Now, here's where we're going to love this. So we know that it's the lack of love that causes heart disease. It's the poisoned love, you love me and I'll love you. I mean, that's just like almost every relationship going, right? Think about the relationship you're in, the husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, and think about how you play love ransom with each other. Think about how often you actually feel a pain in your heart. Okay? Feel about how often you get heartburn. Okay? Acid indigestion. So understand something. We are so messed up, and you got so set up, and you actually think this is love. So families, do you guys love each other in the family? Do you guys love each other? Oh, yes, we do. You know what? Most families don't even know what love is, because it's total unconditional self-love for oneself first and foremost. Fill up your own heart and then teach others how to do that. This world will never heal until then, because I cannot fill up all my children's heart, my partner's heart, and everybody else's heart. Okay? Love is a self-serve job. Just like breathing, if the airplane's going down, you put your mask on first. And if you don't want to get this, then you're going to have heart disease. Oh, wait a minute. 1 out of every 2 people do. Oh, wait a minute. Did you know that if we took 100% of everybody rushed to the hospital for heart problems, did you know that it's 96% to 98% to where you read or what you do are angina, okay? Or just heart pain. And all of this is your broken little heart because you don't love yourself. And when your wife or your kids or the dog doesn't show you the love that the percentage that you decided they needed to fill you up every night, like a gas tanker every day, then you're going to end up being hurt. So if you only fill your heart 8%, then you've got a 98% chance of being a miserable son of a gun and having your heart broken every day. Now, we know that when you are emotionally down, when you're emotionally hurt, that you will actually make decisions that hurt you. You will not drink water, because if you're hurting, that's a negative. So you're not going to water a plant if you don't like it. Okay? We know that you're not going to go and make a salad if you're miserable. You're going to eat something that's going to jack you up. It's going to be sugar, flour. It's going to be an alcohol drink. It might be a toke. It might be a cigarette. But the way that we treat ourselves is the way that we feel about ourselves. And that's it. So understand something. I don't judge people. I just know that they're running dysfunctional beliefs and unconsciously trying to kill themselves because love hurts. Now let's talk about the physical. When you're looking at the physical, you need to go to the Perfect Day Guide, go to page 37, take a look at that diet. Okay? You need to get the cork out of your butt, okay? Because you got to get your bowels moving because you don't want to back up any more waste, right? And how are you going to take pressure off your heart? Well, if you've got heart problems, you better be doing the ultimate coffee enema, and you better get yourself on foods that aren't going to take any energy to digest or leave any more toxic residue. I would also take a look at curcumin cayenne because it's one of the most inexpensive things that will bring inflammation down in the body. I would definitely be on fulvic acid and structured water because fulvic acid will hold 3 times its weight in acidity, and it will deliver over 40 different nutrients to your cells. It is the world's greatest chelator for bringing out acidity. And guess what? We know that heart disease is caused because of acidity. And then I'd be looking at Merigen. Merigen will take the displaced calcium away. And also, guess what? There's a video that you can watch. And if you don't have a certain amount of calcium, then your heart will not beat properly. So that's why you'll get the angina. It'll miss a beat. Okay, so, but not just that. Merigen is the only product of its kind that'll actually put all the displaced calcium back and balance out the rhythm of the heart. And then take a look at FiberClear, because you've got to clean up your blood. You got to clean up your blood and get rid of the garbage in the blood so that it flows properly. And then look at daily cleansing tea to get that cork out of your butt. And the other thing is, go to the Braveheart 12 loving steps and start doing the mirror work. And say this: Daryl, today and every day, I promise to protect, respect, and love you first and foremost before anything else or anyone else. So help me God. I will protect you today, because I'm going to tell you something. It's you that needs to protect you from you that's doing you in. Okay? So we got to take responsibility back. Now, the other thing is this whole stent thing. Okay? Think about it. I forget what it was. I think it was like 800,000 stents were put in last year. So understand, and it says that the number is growing by leaps and bounds every year. Well, that's because the medical system doesn't do anything about emotion or health, right? And they're just going to go, wow, okay, you've got a blocked artery, your valve's not working right, let's put a stent in there, all right? So then they're going to do that, and then you're going to be on Coumadin, which is, we know it as warfarin, which is rat poison. That's what they give to rats so that they'll thin out their blood so that they'll die. Okay? So understand something. Before you freak out from now on, okay? Learn to do the lion heart breathing. Put your hand on your heart and even just pat it like this. If you just do this. Just pat your heart when you feel like your heart's broken. Pat your heart when you feel like you're getting angina. Pat your heart when you feel lonely. Okay? And let your heart know that you love it. Don't disrespect it. Okay? Because first it's invisible to physical. Okay? Invisible to visible. Do you understand? So it's emotional to physical. All right? You're damaging your brain before your heart. All right? I'll see you today on my Q&A, and I hope you can join me for my Wednesday show. This Wednesday, I'm going to be with Peter Webb. We're going to be talking all about crystals and all about radionics and how you can wear this crystal to protect yourself from 5G, and how you can put a protector in your home, and how you can revitalize your garden, and how you can up your oxygen levels on your property by 40% and your crop growth. And we're going to be talking about amazing things like that. And then Thursday, I've got the amazing Dr. Marlene Siegel, and we're going to be talking about dogs. And we're going to talk about how dogs are so brilliant and how they enhance your lives. So 3 o'clock, I'd really love to see you there. God bless everybody, and have the best day of your life. And guess what? Love is a self-serve job. Learn to fill your heart up. Let yourself off the hook, okay? And know this, that it's got to be unconditional love for yourself. Yes, you're going to make mistakes, but it's not called burning, it's called learning. Take care.